So if you're looking to build your business or get started in real estate as an agent or an investor, where do you start? Well, one is find an experienced person who can help you, take you by the hand, educate you, and guide you through the process. And I don't do that. I'm available to answer questions or help, but I'm not a coach or instructor, or I don't really help brand new investors typically, other than provide education. But I do work with some great coaches. One I've known for a while, for years. We talked about when we actually met. Renee Kishie has an agent education program and investor wholesaler education program. Really excited to have her share with us today. Renee, how you doing?
I'm excellent, Bill. Thank you for having me. I love it. I love that I'm on here with you.
Well, who would have thought when we started, we met, I think you and I met in Beverly Hills at the hotel that's been renamed on Beverly. We were in the bar and had a nice drink and had a chance to meet. And it's been a while since then. There's a global pandemic. We both changed businesses. But tell me about what do you do to help new investor wholesalers and realtors, or those looking to build their business? What do you do to help them build their business?
Yeah, actually, probably my specialty really is talking to other agents. So even if you're just somebody who doesn't have your license and you want to invest, that's part of it. But I definitely think, like, I speak agent, right? So I've been licensed as an agent for 18 years here in California. I live in Southern California, live in Los Angeles, one of the toughest markets out there, right? And so I think agents, they can get kind of flat, right? Like, okay, just going to buy and sell to sellers and buyers, right? And what do we do in a shifting market, or what can we do to add value to our clients? And so one of the things that is my niche is really working with investment properties. And it's not just fix and flip, it's buy and hold, it's development. There's a lot of different exit strategies. So that's what I enjoy.
You know, I think you hit it right ahead, because too often people say, oh, it's too hard to market this or that. But in every market, like in our MLS, in a great month, we have 11,000 sales. In a bad month, there's only 7,000. I just need two a month to make a good living. So it's about what do you have to do that's more. So give me an idea. What kind of activities should someone be doing if they're going to get involved in working with investors?
Yeah, you obviously, most investors are very data driven, so they're emotional in a different way, right? To give you some context, right? A traditional home buyer is going to come in and they want to create memories. They want to know that the kitchen's beautiful, the color schemes, how their Christmas tree is going to look, all the things, all the feels, right? An investor is just very bottom line. Is this going to pencil out, and how can we make money from it? They may have somebody on their team, like a designer or something, to put all that together, but the person who's actually the money person making that decision. So you want to get into the profile of who is your client, right? Start with the end in mind. So if you do want to work with investors, what type of investor are they? And honestly, it's just good old fashioned communication. You don't have to sit at home in your head and read 10 books. It's actually start talking to people and creating those relationships, and then engaging and asking them questions. What is important to them? And you start fact finding and gathering data. And then there are some other groups, or someone like myself, where the numbers, does it pencil out to be a fix and flip? Does it pencil out to be a development play, like a small lot development? Because all those numbers are very different. So you're going to get to know that. But you want to, gosh, you could even start YouTube University. Just go on there and start educating yourself. Get with someone like myself, who's a seasoned agent, that will help you with some of those parameters and guidelines. So when you're out there talking to folks, you can sound educated initially while you're gathering your information.
I can always tell brand new agents, investors, they'll call me and say, I have an investor, and I'll say, oh, okay, well, what do they want to get? And the answer is always, well, they said they'll get anything as long as they can make money on it, right? Which is another way of saying, I'll buy all the $20 bills you have for $18. Well, nobody's selling $20 bills for $18. You got to find out what that person wants specifically. And you mentioned communication. So how do you get people to go a little deeper? Is it teaching about the product types, or how do you get the agents to understand it's not about finding anybody who's alive who says they want to buy property, but you're really looking for, I think, what's the opportunity I have to bring value to this customer?
It goes back to what I said. People, I think that classic psychology, we all want to be heard, right? As much as we think we're actively listening, we're probably not. And so that is something I would highly recommend your listeners to get involved in, is how to be a better listener. You don't just want to ask a question and then try to listen for the answer through your own filter. You really honestly want to hear what that person is saying, and you want to actively listen so that you can listen in between the lines of what they are saying. And then you get good at piecing the things together. So I hope that answered the question. I mean, sounds a little esoteric, but this is an art, not a science, right? So
it is. That's a good way to put it. It is an art.
Yeah. And everybody is different. So if we say, oh, I'm going to work with investors, I go back to what I just said before. What is that profile of person? Are they a scrape, fix and flip? Are they going to tear down the house and build something there? Are they just a fix and flip? Like I said, are they a buy and hold, right? So they all have different reasons for buying and percentages for buying at, and you're not really going to know that unless you ask questions. So really, I think for me, where I've shined is I reach out to my fellow agents. So do I reach out to investors? Yes, but let me kind of take it first step at a time. As I reach out to investors, agents. I prospect agents, and I ask them, who are you working with that's an investor, and are they interested in something that would be an off-market opportunity? I'm already setting it up for a yes, right? Mm-hmm. And then I ask them who their clients are. And as I get to understand who their clients are, then I can also educate the agent along the way. So I want to empower them to empower their clients. And that's just a different niche than me going, say, direct to the seller and trying to acquire a property that way.
Nice. So if an agent has investors, aren't sure how to put together, aren't sure what the next steps are, what's the next step? How they get in touch with you, how they reach out to you?
Yeah, I mean, I can certainly, put my contact information in the show notes, and I'm happy to have that conversation with them. It is a different type of conversation. So there's an agent profile out there that's like me. I call my avatar the unicorn. I'm the agent that's a unicorn, right? So I can walk both sides of it. I talk to investors, and I also talk to regular, retail. I call it regular retail people. So if you're an agent that is interested in either becoming more educated, that's why I call it agent education, more educated on how to speak to your investors, or you want to supplement what you're doing. Maybe you're not pivoting your career, but you want to supplement by working with investors, then certainly we can communicate, and I can give you some guidelines on how to do that.
Fantastic. Well, Renee, I know you're doing a great job. I know I reached out to you to learn about what you're working on, and would encourage any agent interested in working with investors to give you a call and see if they can kind of piggyback with you or work with you and ride with you on the process. So fantastic. Thank you for your time today. Appreciate it. Always nice to chat with you.
Bill, you are the best. And I look forward to doing more business with you and just supporting what you're up to. And thank you for being a contribution to the community.
Well, thanks.